Even a man who is pure at heart and says his prayers by night may still become the wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. A subject that I have often considered doing a talk on is that of werewolves, if you will, in their much more modern term and concept of explanation. Now, there are many terms for such beings from Europe and other areas of the world, with different descriptions and different types, if you will. You have the Berserk, the Berserk, the wearer of the bear shirt, followers of Odin, who in some cases were supposedly capable of taking on the physical manifestation of the bear. You have the Ulfhednar, basically the wolf version of the Berserk. The wearers of the wolf skin, who took upon the countenance of the wolf. In Africa, you had these leopard men, I believe, is what they were referred to as. Same difference, just with leopards, obviously. I believe also out of India, there are tales of basically tiger men. Within our own folklore, histories, and sagas, you have similar tales. You have that of the saga of the Volsungs, Sigmund and Sinfjotli, taking upon the shape and countenance of the wolf, while living as, these wild men, these outlaws within the forest. The she-wolf who devoured the brothers, the companions of Sigmund, who was supposedly the mother of his enemy, who was said to be a witch. You have what is referred to as Hamrammer, or shape-strong, which is the same difference as a shape changer, or skin changer, skin walker. You have in the American Indian lore the legends of the skin walkers. These beings who were capable of changing their shape to animal form, like that of the coyote, the trickster. I mean, there are numerous legends from all over, plenty of which come from Europe. You have folk tales such as Little Red Riding Hood, which most people tend to overlook, but you could delve deeper into. A wolf that is capable of speech and disguising itself as a little old woman. That sounds like something more than just a wolf with a nightgown on, to be honest. You have legends of great individuals of renown, such as Romulus and Remus, the famed twin brothers who founded Rome. That there are still to this day statues depicting them suckling from a mother she-wolf. Some legends say that they came from Romania, and that they were the first werewolves. Even today, I do believe, within Bucharest, Romania, you can find statues of Romulus and Remus suckling from the mother wolf. There are legends similar to that of the Jungle Book. These wild children supposedly raised by wolves. You can find these stories everywhere. Still to this day, in modern America, you can find legends of the Beast of Bray Road in Wisconsin, one of the most famous werewolf sighting areas in all of America. Or then you have I believe it is the Wisconsin dogman. I forget specifically, but nonetheless, these legends are everywhere. I would assume they have some sort of basis. I mean, you have other similar legends pertaining to different animals, nonetheless, but still, even within the lore. I mean, Loki can shapeshift into that of a horse. He is able to take on that of like a falcon guise. You know, other gods and goddesses can do the same, take on swan guises and falcon guises. Odin, at one point himself, becomes a snake. Shape-shifting is very common within our people's lore. It's found everywhere. The children of Loki, one of which is a great wolf, another is a great serpent or dragon. The mother of these beings is supposedly a witch who is capable of shape-shifting as Loki is, who is said to be one who breeds Fenrir's kin. Also, some of these individuals, like Hiddlekin from the lore, or even the Norns themselves, are said to be wolf riders. If you look into wolves themselves, the markings upon a wolf's back is quite commonly referred to as saddle markings, because the markings will resemble that of a saddle upon the back of the wolf. There are a great many interesting things in this particular realm of subject, this particular topic, that I have seen many videos on. I've watched documentaries on this, read books on this, but I haven't seen very much in-depth conversation from heathens. You can find these horrific legends of, say, the beast of Gévaudan, France. I mean, so many different things. You can find them everywhere. You could find similar legends within the Greek, such as the Minotaur, or the Centaur or Satyr. These half-horse or half-bull creatures. The Minotaur, the half-bull, I forget the name of the king and queen, but this is, to a degree, it's mytho-history. It's mythic, but it is both historical and mythic. It's unique. There is the legend of this king. I would have to reread it to give you the exact names, but this king of ancient Greece, he was gifted this miraculous bull, this amazing, the most perfect bull of all bulls, that walked out of the sea, was gifted to him. Well, it was supposed to be sacrificed to Poseidon, who gifted the king this bull. But the greedy king instead decided to keep this bull so that he could use it to better his own stock of his own cattle. Well, this angered Poseidon, not being gifted back in sacrifice this bull that he had given this greedy king. So he basically placed a curse upon the king's household, made the king's queen lust after the bull. And she had this craftsman make for her a hollowed out mannequin, if you will, of a cow that she was able to climb into. She was then bred by this magic bull of Poseidon and gave birth to the Minotaur. Now the king, being greatly disgraced by this, but also fearing any further wrath of Poseidon, did not slay the Minotaur, but instead placed it within a maze in a cavern and would feed people to it to slate its thirst. for human flesh, because this is what it craved and desired. This is what it fed upon. All those trapped within the maze of the Minotaur would sooner or later be captured by it and devoured. So you have these stories, these mythic stories, these folk tales, stories from the lore. You have these other shape-changing events, such as Loki and Heimdall, both taking upon the shape of a seal or sea lion and battling upon an island in the sea over the Brasingamen necklace of Freya. Likewise, you have the Celtic story of the Selkie, these half-seal, half-human beings. A story of which you can find within the movie The Secret of Rowan Inish. You have all of these stories and tales. Then you have these individuals who are more real to life, if you will, like that of the Berserkers. Now, perhaps, they do not physically change, but mentally and spiritually change, which would be similar to that of lycanthropy, the mental state of changing into an animal, which comes from the ancient tale of King Lycaon, who angered the gods and was changed into a wolf who devoured his own family, if memory serves me correctly. And also, not to mention, you have Kyrnunos, the Celtic horned god, who is commonly depicted as a sort of satyr-type being, this half-animal, half-human-like being, who is supposedly a god of the, kind of like the Celtic version of the Wild Hunt, if you will. You have the satyrs in general, these half-men, half-goats. You have Pan, who is, I believe, the Greek god of song and dance and poetry, I believe, and he is a god of the Greek pantheon, who is a satyr himself. Now, I realize that I have discussed a great many things more than just werewolves. I guess I got a little bit carried away, but nonetheless, and I think actually it was probably the Connecticut Dogman. I don't know why I said Wisconsin again, but nonetheless, a fairly modern tale. But anyway, whether it's ancient or modern, there are so many things, whether it be found within folk tales, lore, or just sagas, and you have these small metaphorical stories like the boy who cried wolf. It's just amazing how many little things you can find. And maybe it's a little small thing. It might be small, but when you start adding up all these small things together, you'd be surprised at what all you could find. But anyway, nonetheless, I think I've probably talked long enough and covered the basics, covered all of my bases, if you will. But this is something that I've personally always been fascinated by. I've studied and researched for just years, ever since I was young, because it was something that always personally fascinated me. And I thought I would do a recording on it. Just to see what everyone thought. Hopefully this interest, at least someone out there. Maybe not everybody is interested in this sort of subject, but nonetheless, as long as at least I can pique the interest of somebody, that's always good. And if you have maybe a personal story that you wouldn't mind sharing, or if you know of another tale or story or a piece of lore or something that ties in with this, well, by all means, share it. Add it in the comments. But nonetheless, I think I've rambled on plenty long enough. So, I guess I'll go ahead and end it here. And as always, thanks for listening.